And the first, the first part is, let me do this. Are you seeing my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Well, we
Yes.
thought that we call this first very short part. We have a short part from ourselves, and then we invited and we pre-recorded a couple of clips from some experts in advocacy. And the approach that we taught is that we start with getting our wording right, because in at least in the context of Malta now, the local councils are being expected to be engaged in advocacy, especially they have to have, from what I know, correct me if I'm wrong, someone responsible for integration. And we feel that there is more need of support, more than requesting people to engage in advocacy, especially when it's not their main target as a career. I will admit someone, okay. This is the first time I'm doing this. Let me show it like this. So basically, it's about getting our wording right. Let's see, presenter view. No. So getting our wording right. I'll do this. So basically, when we speak of advocacy, it is often defined as any action that speaks in favor of, recommends, argues for a cause, supports or defends, or pleads on behalf of others. And what we would like to bring out is the difference between the words advocacy and campaigning. Maybe advocacy might seem too big a word for people who have never been involved in it. But during this short session, we wanted to share some experiences of organizations that are household names around us, but we hardly ever classify them as advocacy groups. And we wanted also to bring out the importance in the definition of advocacy, the part of pleads on behalf of others. In fact, this trend, and even in the clips that we have pre-recorded for you, are by entities that plead on behalf of others with some positive results. Whereas in campaigning, usually the first thing that comes to mind is, hardcore exposure, like protest kind of thing. Whereas we would like to, in this short session, may basically differentiate between the two, although of course they overlap very much. We borrowed some list of what advocacy actions could be. It could be build a power base, bringing interest players together, educate legislators, educating the public, build a knowledge base. We will go through these again, okay? Mobilize for a cause, take action in agencies of influence. In fact, when they are asking local councils to be of influence, that is what they are asking from local councils in Malta. Voter mobilization, this I'm sure we all know what it is. Educational conferences, training, litigation, and lobbying. And we wanted to give you a couple of examples of some entities in Malta that are actually involved in these situations, and I'm sure our foreign participants would identify with maybe entities in their territories that do the same. For example, when we are thinking of campaigning, usually when we are educating the public, like education campaigns, when we mobilize for a cause, voter mobilization, if it is something that could influence a wide, the audience of politicians especially, litigation. So this shows that there is an activity that we are used to seeing, and that to our mind maybe is what would come to mind when we speak of campaigning, I would like to give an example. For example, in Malta, there is a garden that has some historical relevance. It has already been butchered by Gross taking away part of this garden from the 1800s to build car parks, for example. for a hospital nearby. But then there is an association, it's called Association Friends of Villa Frere, that have mobilized for the cause of stopping development around this villa, to give it a breather around it, because it's no use having a Victorian garden surrounded by blocks of apartments. They go into litigation, for example. How? When there is a permit to build a block of flats that would, or apartments, or even a hotel, that would basically put all the garden, all this historical garden in the shade, they actually file formal objections with the planning authorities. They lobbied, for example, successfully, and they managed to bring first level protection status to this garden through the political channels. So this is a kind of advocacy and campaigning that is not in the field of migration, but we wanted to give you a bit of even other areas of advocacy that is taking place around us and that we might be not aware of, or that we are not used to calling it advocacy. Another example would be graffiti. Graffiti is an advocacy NGO in Malta that has been active now for a couple of decades, I'm sure. And they are usually mobilizing people, even down on the street, on issues related to environment, greed, human rights, quality of life, so on a number of issues. And again, they mobilize people for a cause, they bring people down on the streets, they organize information activities, they get into litigation, and they also do a lot of lobbying with bodies that they feel are impinging on the rights of others. And they would be maybe Malta's most prolific name in advocacy, that is not in any way seen to belong to any political faction. They are against everybody. Another advocacy and campaign was, some years ago in Malta, there was the divorce referendum. And of course, the parties for and against were involved in building a power base, bringing players around them. They were having public education campaigns, of course, everyone from his own perspective. They mobilized for a cause, and in this case, there was, for example, voter mobilization, because, of course, the referendum needed votes. And the lobbying, of course, was important because when you lobby around the powers that be in a society, of course, lobbying is very important. I mean, a short concluding note for this short intro. Who, when, how, why, where, the usual questions in advocacy and campaigning. Given that this is also in the context of the municipalities being expected to become more of agents and advocacy agents on the area of migration, there are a number of organizations, and you'd be surprised how many there are, and they are not all mentioned. But in advocacy and campaigning, you find organizations like private ones, like Aditus, African Media Association, Natalia is from there. Then you, like Kopin, of course. Then you find the more formal ones, and that more work at international level, like Human Rights Directorate, the ICMPD, the International Protection Authority. So when we look around and we think of migration, we know that these are either in advocacy and campaigning, or else, if anyone is engaging in advocacy, one would need to possibly rope in these partners as partners, and because they are agencies of influence that can bring about results. All these bodies have something in common, and it is because they have migration issues as part of their core mission. I mean, anyone can be involved in advocacy or campaigning, of course, depending on levels, because some of us need or are requested or have chosen to do that due to the function of office. Some people have it as their job, and other people out of choice. That, for example, I speak from ourselves, we are not directly involved in migration, but we chose to get engaged in youth projects, enabling youth to carry out public education campaigns on the subject of migration. Okay, we are not advocating really directly in the field of migration, but campaigning for more education and social media on the subject of migration. So there are different ways of how everyone can engage. However, whether they are involved in advocacy and campaigning due to function of office or out of choice, again, they have something in common. Both of them need ideas and a plan if advocacy is to go a step further into campaigning. The moment one is to take action, one needs to plan, as we shall see further on today. This is, of course, it would be nice if in the chat maybe you say which one of them would be you, or anything at all, if you are involved in advocacy, either due to function of your office, be it in public or private role, or maybe out of choice. Maybe now or later you can share what your work and how it is connected with migration. Right now, there will be a short presentation of a project that we are involved in, and there is, I see that there are some partners even involved in it. It will be by James. Maybe James can share his screen now. It is a project that is an Erasmus Youth project that, as James will tell you, it is a mild way of advocacy without overexposure, given that migration, of course, is unfortunately a hot topic, maybe beyond what it should be. James, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Antoine. Yes, in fact, today with us, there is Iona from Romania, who is also a partner in the MARSA project. Now, this, for those of you locally, MARSA, you know what it represents. It represents a bit an area where migration is for sure a hot issue for the locals as well. And for us in this project, it meant move against rash statements and actions. Basically, this project, the main aims of this project were the following, where we have trained youth leaders and organizations and youth of these organizations in joint activities with other partners, okay, and mainly to have like a product development in market research. So part of the aim of this project is not to believe and not to like believe is the word, believe whatever you see online mainly. Eventually this project was a success as well, and it continued its lifetime into another project now, which is called The Real Picture, which we hope it will get extended in the next couple of years. As a project, it involved that we teach also video skills and how to present your ideas. And it is mainly the aim of today's thing, that if you want to be part of advocacy, doesn't mean that you need to be somehow maybe aggressive, or as we have seen from examples that even Antoine gave, you need to necessarily go on the streets. You can do it with what you have today within your reach, and also with today's tools. And let me give you some examples here, okay? So the MARSA project aimed, first of all, to be a sample for public education, right? So let me share 1 second the screen. Okay, can you see my screen? Yeah. Can you see the screen there?
Yeah. Yes, you can.
You can. Good. So keep in mind that this is for public education, right? So we need to simplify the message to reach and target a bit everyone. So what we did is that there are different messages for different audiences. Like if we are seeing here, this is our Facebook page for the Marsa project. First of all, we need to keep in mind, as always, but I will not go too much into this. We are living in an age of information, and you need to be involved. You need to be present. So, in fact, for the Marsa project, we have a YouTube channel, we have Twitter, and we have also Facebook pages, amongst other things. So here, we are showing you like are simple memes, right, that make you think. Okay, so for example, bullying migrants hiding behind social media. Here we are referring to this type of comments, right? As long as we are hiding behind our computers, we can say whatever we want. We also are mocking a bit the bit that there are so many experts, and what a mess, right? Trolls ranting against migrants. Okay, so like this, we are trying to make the people out there think a bit of what they are seeing with simple messages, sometimes also a bit funny, right? Like this one, right? Don't share fake news. It's a bit of propaganda out there. Apart from this, we had also our local Facebook page, which aims mostly to local messages in Maltese as well. Okay, and they are basically saying quite the same thing, all right, about fake news and what to read online. We think it's also important to give it a bit of local context. So yes, working by at sea as well and passing always the message. Local context again here, for example, we have a small clip with the background of St. Julian's. Our aim was to reach different audiences, and so far we have aimed for adults here, but as I can show you, we had also aimed for younger audiences. Here, what you are seeing is our page where we can see also um, some animation aimed for younger audiences. What I'm showing you here is in Maltese. All the rest was in different languages for the project partners, and also because Malta is bilingual, so we could aim for both. What we thought also to mention today, as you notice, everything is quite short and to the point. And apart from us passing the message, we were also thinking about professionals passing the message. And here we took like very mini bite-sized videos with professionals talking about migration. Amongst others, here we can see Kopin as well, right, and Antoine, okay. And perhaps we can give you a short example. I will put William on. I don't know if you can hear the clip. You can hear the sound?
No, it's not.
James, we cannot hear the sound.
Doesn't matter. All right. He does not have a nice voice anyway, so no. But to show you that we made it in different languages, and as you can see, it's only 2 minutes long. All right. So it's important to keep these points in mind, and I will conclude with it. All right. That when it comes to advocacy, it can be done in a non-aggressive way, in a mild way. It's important to simplify the message, have a balance between. Passing a message which is simplified and reaching everyone, and also having the professional.
Oh.
All right. In fact, in this part that I wanted to show you, when you have the passing of message from professionals or from experienced people, as you can see from the page here, we had a different array of different people passing like the right message. And we also had migrants, we had also NGOs and professionals working directly with migration. And we had also, for example, the search and rescue, which was something that usually we don't hear too much from them, right? So it's also important to think a bit alternatively about all the players in migration. Antoine?
Thank you, James. That was short and sweet. Basically, in fact, our plans are that this project will possibly be extended in the field of advocacy and entrepreneurship skills in advocacy, actually. But that is pleasure is yet to come. We wanted to give you another example of advocacy in a different kind. It's not like campaigning. We went and pre-recorded an interview with Krista from Microfinance. Basically, Microfinance works in support of originally migrants, but now also Maltese, because some Maltese now have the same needs as migrants, because poverty is rising, especially since COVID, but even before. And we pre-recorded it, and basically the philosophy is that there is also service provision and public education, helping basically the migrants in making better stories for themselves. I'm going to share the screen now. It's very short, it's 4 minutes.
Hello, my name is Krista and I'm working for Malta Microfinance. This office is part of St. Andrew's Scots Church. It is one of our missions, and we are trying to help people in a crisis situation. People can come to us for a micro loan. This means we give small loans between 2,000 and 2,500, not more than that. We will give to them in the hope that they can improve their life quality with that. The loans are going for 12 months. They should be repaid within 12 months because the money which we lend out, we needed to come back and give it to somebody else. This is our system. We are a non-profit organization. This means we are not having any interest on our loans. Our interest is to help the people to get to have a better life, that the quality of life has improved for them and their families. So, for example, if we had a case for somebody who was a bus driver, somebody is a bus driver and his car was broken and he cannot pay for the repair, in order not to lose his job, he needs a car. Because if he has the first shift in the morning, there is no bus to bring him to work. So this is an essential thing for us to do. Mind you, we are not giving money into the hands of the people. We are writing checks to the entities, so for example, for the car mechanic. We don't give checks to the people as well, nor do we give cash in hands. We have different loan schemes. They are loans for education. If somebody wants to improve his working life and going to MCAST or studying something, maybe we can help with that. We have business loans as well, where we start to start up business or improving little businesses. And we help not only with the loan, we try to go with the client all the way. Means helping them with the ideas of marketing, business plans and all that. They need to come a little bit prepared, but we also try to help them if there are some things they don't know, and we follow up a bit in the time as they are our clients. So we had stories where people had, we had a street hawker where his car was stolen, and when they found the car again, it was without the goods. So he got a loan from us to buy some goods to sell again, to keep his business going. We have also loans for rent. This was not in our scheme before, rental loans, but we had to adapt to the problems of the country. These loans, as any loan, are for all people. This is not a migrant-based organization. It is for everybody, for Maltese people as well. And in the last couple of years, I can say we had more and more Maltese people coming, because the rent situation in Malta is not easy. It is very, very difficult for people with the salary which we have in Malta and the rent. People pay 60-70% of their salary for rent. So how are they going to live after? And with Corona coming this year, where many people have been losing their job or been laid off for some time, it is clear, everybody knows that the problem was rising. We are also trying to help the people by checking the contracts, the rental contracts, if they are correct. You find all kind of hidden problems in a contract, working contracts as well. And we try to help even if people have been, very often people are working for some time and they don't get paid. And that brings them in a problem with repayments for their rent or for their car installments or whatsoever. So yes, we do give loans. We are a microloan entity, but we try to help in a holistic package. We try to see it from all sides, and we try to connect it with other people and other entities in Malta, which are helpful to poor people and people in need in Malta, of all nations and of all walks of life. I mean, a problem can hit any one of us, and so this is one of the places people can come for some help.
It was a short clip that we must admit we shot it outdoors, so that we bring some sunshine into the room now here. But again, this is another kind of advocacy that maybe even if councils in Malta, or if you have similar entities who are seeking to or are being pushed to be involved in advocacy with migrants, these are the kind of organizations one can partner with. And this is actually our mission, our unofficial mission in this activity, that we entice more people to partner with organizations like the ones also that we will see in future in interviews further down.